YouTube, hey Saturday night, it's Friday night, I might be out partying. Well, I don't know, I'm going to take a bottle of Bucky with me when we're away. Neither Scott nor Jane drink, so I might feel a little bit guilty just sitting getting tacked into a bottle of Bucky, but I may do it anyway. But I've not even plugged this in yet to see if it works, but the guy who I bought this off and Scott both said, oh, it's maybe really good for the guitar as well. The bass Roland Cube. I'm assuming you watched the video the other day when I got it. Yeah, so I'm just going to plug it in and see what happens. So I'll zero all the EQ flat, chorus off, reverb off, volume down, plug in. Roadstar, because it's very versatile. It's got the Super 70 humbucker in the bridge, and then it's got Super 5 pickups in it, and they're all just super, hence the names. Yes. There you go, we're on. So, what does it sound like as a guitar amp then? Quite bassy. Super flat. Maybe that's the way to go. Yeah, okay, so it's slightly bassier than what you would expect from a guitar amp. What, turn the bass down a wee bit? Maybe. So, I mean, it does clean pretty good. I was having this discussion with, I think it was Frank the other day, about he's like, oh, got me the valve amps, and it's like, yeah, totally, on the guitar, I think so. On the bass, I'm happy with solid state. Not the fact I don't actually have a valve bass amp. I don't even know if I've ever actually owned one now that I think about it, but the best amp I've ever played through is my big Marshall, which is through next door. That's the bottom half of it, so it's a 400 watt thing. It's got a valve in the preamp. It's that one actually. One valve, like as a sort of kind of like a pedal, I suppose, in front of it, like a wee thing that you put in, but the bulk of it's solid state. It does sound a bit solid state. Like I'll put a wee bit of reverb on. Notice I call it reverb, not reverb that time, for no reason whatsoever. Bridge single coil. Sorry, I'm trying to stand not between the mic and the speakers, since it's only wee speakers. It's actually up quite loud, isn't it? Humbucker. So, I mean, yes, you can definitely keep up, and if you want to play clean, that's even on the humbucker. Yes, so yes, it does. That would definitely do as a guitar amp. So it does have a gain, which is at half just now. So I wonder what happens if I do the old trick of putting the volume down at nothing and put the gain up full. Obviously not the volume at nothing, but so that's at maximum gain. because it's a bass amp, it's kind of almost trying not to give you gain. No reverb. It's kind of not so much gain as a sort of mildy overdrivey. Actually, to be honest, you kind of lose all the definition. Where's that bright? Spankiness isn't the word, but it's the bell-like clarity. It's there with the gain at half. You put the gain up at full. It kind of sounds just like there's like a pillow over it, kind of thing. Yeah, so as a clean amp, it does have a sort of funny timbre to it, the sound, as in, I think, but then again, I'm not comparing it to normal guitar amps, I'm comparing it to my amps, which is, you know, it's an all valve 30 watt orange played through three 12-inch speakers. Yeah, not really the same. Probably, if I was maybe more comparing that to like a sort of, like a wee Marshall MG, something like that. I mean, I think it's only 5 watts. I don't think watts necessarily means the same thing in this. There must be different ways of measuring it or something. Or because it's designed to run in batteries, it's using those watts very wisely, as opposed to, you know, a huge wastage of watts here with 60 watts, where it's like, that's fine, power, we've got power, whereas that's like pure, no, this has got to last 10 hours or something for buskers, so be a bit more efficient with it. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to try sticking the pedal board into it. I wonder how the rat pedal, says it's possible it'll be lovely. I've just got a feeling that there might be you know, the whole thing about a bass amp is it's kind of designed not to distort, really. So I'm wondering if it's going to kill it. That's quite significantly louder and beefier. I think that's because my loop pedal has a gain on it at the end, which I always play through. So when I say I'm playing straight through the amp, clearly that's a higher volume than it was before. So I am boosting it a little bit with that loop pedal because it's got gains on it and stuff. Also, I've probably lost a fair bit of high end because I'm running through 10 pedals. They're all off, but oh no, hold on, I've double reverbed it, haven't I? So what I'm just going to put on the rat pedal, is it going to be a disgusting mess? I'll go into the bridge pickup and put it into humbucker mode. See, it sounds like you're kind of hitting a wall a little bit. I've not even put the rat pedal on yet. Just when you put it onto the humbucker, it's like I'm overloading the amp, and the amp's going, hey, overload, quick, calm it down, let's get rid of that distortion. What's it going to sound like with the rat pedal on? I can utilise my toe to push it in. My left toe, not as good as my right toe. Take myself to a wee bit of reverb there. It's totally fine. I'm going to say it doesn't sound as good as the wee old Valve Orange, you know, at 500 quid or whatever they cost. But outdoors, that doesn't make any noise at all unless you've got a generator. That does. Also, it doesn't cost 500 quid. But yes, no, I mean it's good. There is a remnant there. There is a. Dare I say it? Go. Dare I? Yeah, it's got that modelling amp thing. I can hear. Oh, maybe try a different model. Try the. Well, the Bassman. That's what the original Marshall's based off of. So this should just be like a Fender Bassman, and that's very different, isn't it? Real wasp in a jam jar shit, that. Again, being snobbish, I think I could have told you that was a modelled amp sound rather than an actual amp sound. I wonder what it sounds like without the. That's without any pedals on and just ramping up again. I think maybe part of what's getting me a wee bit is the actual air movement, because although the difference of going to see a live band or listen to a record maybe a bit different if you listen to it in a 10 grand stereo, but there's air movement which I'm obviously getting. I'm running three 12-inch speakers. Okay, they're not very loud, but they're wafting the backs of my legs a little bit, possibly even in a barely conceivable sound, but it's adding something to it. It sounds a wee bit disconnected just because I'm used to playing guitar. I don't have any problem with the bass. Because it's a bass amp, it's a really good one. But various stages of pillow in front of the amp. Concert B10. I'm thinking I could get away with that. I mean, you could get away with it, but. It does have a bit of a thing going on. No, that was session. What's concert B10 now? So a rat copy pedal. One, not the. I've got the wee. I can't remember. It's a Mosky Black Rat, which is a very cheap rat pedal, which sounds pretty damn close to a real rat pedal, but not that one because it doesn't take a battery. It's one of the wee mini pedals, but you definitely get one that's a slightly bigger pedal that takes a battery. So you need an extra battery and extra leads, and I'm there. That's fine. Use that for busking. For when I go busking. No, well, I busked one song once and it was terrifying. Never again. Well, I'll probably do it now because I'm an egomaniac. that's totally usable. Like, I would say, if you're a bass player, well done. Somebody's got to do it. It's a dirty job, but nobody likes it. But yes, if you're a bass player, you should have an electric guitar. Or you should play the guitar as well, because it will help you play the bass. But you should play the guitar as well, because you can do some of it. Then yes, and you had an amp like that, maybe buy yourself a wee distortion pedal, and then you don't need an amp, but not for the house. For the house, perfect. What I'm going to do now is, so this is that's it there. Rat pedal into Roland good. Now if I take that out of there, stick it back into the orange. That just goes to show how much louder I had that wee thing than I normally do. Okay, I'm not standing in front of that amp now. It's an awful good guitar, this one. I have to say that what's happening there is I reckon that amp's distorting an awful lot more. I think what I was saying there about the bass amp, because it's kind of designed to not distort. It's like how loud can we get? Basically, when Roland were designing that wee cube, it was like, right, how loud can we get it to go running on batteries with a bass, but try and keep the overdrive and the distortion, because most bass players want a clean bass. Not me. I'm in a Black Sabbath band. I need a fuzz pedal, but so I think that's what it's done. So I think it's kind of killing a bit of the Rat pedal. The Rat pedal sounds much more distorted through the big amp. And it's obviously not the speakers that are distorting, because there's 3 of them. They're 12-inch, and I don't know how many watts it is, but more than is it 7.5 that amp? That's it. There's a switch in the back, so it's 30. There's a switch in the back that switches it to half power. And there's another switch in the front which hits it to half power again, so it's actually 7.25 watts that's running at. This guitar is pure amazing. I mean, I've got a couple. I've got the Paul Gilbert, and I've got the other Japanese RG, and there is grounds for this being a better guitar. It's much more traditional feeling. It feels much more like a Strat. These things feel a wee bit like a spaceship, whereas this is just a Strat, but like a slightly improved one. It's kind of, well, basically this is exactly halfway between a Strat. Basically halfway between that white one and the Paul Gilbert is this. I suppose time-wise it's probably kind of about the same sort of thing as well. It's that 70s. This is 86 and that's 2000. Yeah, 2000, so there you go. But Scott's after one of these, but I mean, quite understandably, it's very tempted to get one. I don't know, to be honest, if I find one and it's the same as this and it's not white, I'd be tempted to get a JPAX one painted up, or maybe just sell it for, or buy Gen 1, get it to sell it for $1,000, because you're still paying $1,000 for one of these. You're still getting a shitload of guitar for $1,000, and you're doing better than you would buying a lot of other stuff that you're going to get for $1,000. The thing that would hurt was when you look them up on the internet and another one comes up for sale and you go, oh, I overpaid. But you didn't overpay for the quality of the guitar or how good the guitar is. You overpaid for what you can get them for. The story of a lot of these guitars, why I've got them, I wouldn't have them if these were priced. If you got what you paid for, I would have, 2 or 3 guitars. If you got what you paid for, I would have a couple of Fender custom shops and a Gibson, something like that. If you got what you paid for, but I don't like paying for what I get. I like to get it. But I mean, I'm not stealing them. It's like, obviously you get ones that you can find in a bin and all that. Like my Ibanez blazer costs 25 quid. You know, that's not an everyday occurrence. That could happen anywhere. You know, it's possible you're going to find someone who just bought it in the 80s for 50 quid. Like that one, painted it themselves, it looked crap, lost the knobs, and then went, oh, can't really throw it out. Fuck it, I don't know, 25 quid, someone will buy it, that kind of thing. So, but they've not lost money. I didn't haggle, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly. And if I did haggle, then it wouldn't sit right with me. Fuck it up about 3 times the volume. Remember, I'm very used to playing through a valve guitar amp. The bass amp's not much. I mean, do I even have it turned to? I've got it. Okay, I've got there's a blend knob on the bass amp, which is solid state preamp and valve preamp, and I've got it slightly towards the valve side. But don't notice as much in the bass. Maybe it's just because I'm using fuzz and I'm playing Sabbath. It doesn't really matter. No, it doesn't really matter. No, but okay, I think, considering I had that up twice as loud as I should have, I wondered why I was shouting. So, I mean, yes, definitely, definitely say that the 30 watt orange is better for playing the guitar through than the bass cube, but, well, sorry, it's a Saturday night. I'm going to, if I didn't video this, I would do it anyway. But I wonder what happens if you stick a bass. I wonder if it actually sounds better for the bass. That bass, this bass. It's more likely to be in tune. So it's actually a bass amp, right? So does it sound better as a bass amp than a 30 watt? Because I mean, this isn't just, as I said there, this isn't just a 30 watt valve guitar amp. It's also plugged into that speaker cabinet below it, for the reason that I've got a speaker cabinet below it and 3 speakers is better than 1. So you use 3. I wouldn't take, well, yeah, only because it's sitting there. So if I run this for the bass, in fact I can just run straight to the front of the amp. There we go, that's how we do it. I'll take that out, put it there. I don't need the pedal board, I'll stick that in there. Okay, so the bass isn't as loud as the guitar. It doesn't have to sound like it's got rubber bands on it, this bass end. Turn off that reverb with the bass. mean, I would. Tis a bass amp, but I mean, you're talking there about how much it punches above its weight for not, or its size, not being particularly big. Because remember, we're comparing it there to a 3x12 cabinet and a big valve amp. I would actually say that current setting, although to be fair, I can feel, I'm not wearing any shoes, so I can feel the bass coming through the floor a little bit more with that. But that's sitting on the floor, that's not. Whereas if that was sitting on the floor, maybe be a little bit more similar. But yes, I would say that that's a better sound playing through that than it is playing through a suitable big guitar amp. Not very loud. Don't be having like a wee 15 watt guitar amp and playing the bass through it. Really, not going to sound good. But that's got so much girth to it. It can deal with the bass in the house. I would not play a gig with that. I'd be worried about blowing something up once you start putting the volumes up on guitar amps and just sticking a bass into it. You might be blowing speakers and stuff. I think, especially with an active bass, is much more dangerous. But in like just a passive normal bass, I would be a little bit concerned about that. But I would have no issue playing at the volume I was there through that amp. That's fine. It doesn't sound quite as good as the wee cube, but again, if you're a guitarist and you've got a bass, or if you've got a guitar, if you're a guitarist, you've got a couple of guitars, buy a bass. Playing through an amp of that size is fine. Again, I wouldn't maybe bother if you've only got like a wee 10 watt amp. I'd maybe try and get yourself a wee bass amp of some description, because a wee bass amp does sound much better than a guitar amp, sort of thing. I mean, that's there. I mean, that's perfectly acceptable for sitting having a jam with your pals, playing through the orange there with the bass. That's fine. Possibly even for recording or something. That's all right. But not as good as an actual bass amp, and this is expensive because it's small and battery powered. So even if you're picking up whatever the Marshall, what's that, an MB? The Marshall B150, I'd imagine the smallest one in that range is probably a B20 or something like that. You can probably pick one of them up second hand for a lot cheaper than you can get the bass cube, because it's battery powered. But that was, even then, so the 20 watt version of that would probably sound equal to that and better than that. Full of useless information today, yeah. Yeah, so I'm right now. There might have been a live stream, or there might be coming a live stream tonight. I don't know. It'll probably be more of a rabble of me and Scott shouting at the camera and Jen hiding, going, "I don't want to be on TV." It's like, I'm thinking you're on TV on YouTube. So there might be a bit of that going on. I don't really know what's happening. It's going to be hilarious. I'm really looking forward to the adventure. It's an early start. For Scott's got the van. Jen's going to go up to his. He's got to be up by 9 o'clock, and the plan was that we're going to come and pick me up on the way up, so I didn't have to get up till like 10. Scott's it's like an hour's detour to come and pick you up. I looked it up. It's 12 minutes detour, but I mean that's fine. So now I've got to be at Scott's at 9 tomorrow. So should really be getting to bed quite soon. Actually, that's going to be a struggle. So I've got to leave here at 8. At least I'm not driving. It'll be fine. I'll be playing. I'm going to sit in the back, play this bass through this bass amp, and I think for playing, I've been here before. See, for playing inside, like at a tent where it's quiet, or in a camper van or something, that's far too big. It's like, even playing an acoustic inside it, you're like kind of gently tickling it rather than battering it, because you're just in a wee box. So it's like it's ridiculous. But the thing is, it's going to work and it'll sound fantastic when the van's actually going. So it can be turning away. I can sit there blasting out proper chassis shaking bass. Good fun. Looking forward to it. So I will, whether I'm back for the live stream or not, I'm not sure. I might be able to take a bit of a video and then upload it. I should be back, or even if I'm just absolutely knackered, there should be enough to get something. Depends whether I manage to drink my bucky or not. I'm going to take it. I also got a bottle of beer. I got a bottle of the little beer that's got Scott's face on it. Because as I said, those two don't drink, so I'm going to obviously if I'm opening that bucky, they're both having to drink a cap full of it. Because obviously that's They're not. Neither of them drink because they're like ex-alcoholics and like they just don't drink. Scott said he's tried a few times and just felt sick, and fair enough. I think Jen was pretty much the same. If you have a cap full of Bucky, you can experience a horrible taste and probably get a buzz from it. Even just a cap, so it's not actually the alcohol; it's probably the danger element to it. Should be quite fun. Rock on, catch you later. And Mr. White, we are getting Super 58 pickups. Dick, really? I've got one of them in my big double neck Star Destroyer that was on the wall until last week. And that's where that bridge pickup is stunning. It's a Super 58. I think maybe it's because that guitar's really good. It's obviously quite resonant, seeing as it's got an entire other bass neck. It's made out of a solid piece of ash, and it's put together by the best luthier in the universe. So it's totally solid. But that bridge pickup on that guitar sounds phenomenal. Like, I think that's my favourite pickup. I've only ever had it in that one guitar, but Super 58s are awful good. I assume Super 58 would be something to do with the Gibson 58. Yeah, the 58 Les Paul. So I assume it's a PAF type pickup. I don't even know it. It's the one I like. Mind you, I really like that Super 70. The pickups in this guitar are just phenomenal. I mean, really. That's it's going to be an interesting one. It's like this. I'm going to have to do once I've got a bit more used to the RG, because that's got £450 worth of Seymour Duncans in it. That one's got £300 worth of DiMarzios in it. This has the stock pickups. The Super 70 and two Super 5s, and these pickups are just maybe not as versatile, but for what I want to do, for distortion you've got a humbucker, and for cleans you've got two single coils, and you've got a coil split on that as well, which is stock, although I did change the pot because I was annoyed by the push pots you get in these. See when that one's, you can see it's in, when I push it out it pops up like a pen and it sits higher, so I know it's in coil split modes, whereas the original ones don't do that. In fact, there's the original one sitting there. So it's like pure, is it up or is it down? We don't know. Press it. It's just gone back to the same position, but it's now pressed. So I find that really annoying on my RG530, the Roadster with it's like reverse sunburst. It's like white on the outside and green in the middle. That one, it was just forever. You pick it up and it's like, oh, am I on humbucker? So you had to press it. You'd go, I think I'm on humbucker. And you press it and you go, yes, I am on humbucker. So you'd have to press it again. Whereas if it could, so that's the worst case scenario. Is you've got to press that button twice every time you pick the guitar up. The other way is you go, oh, is that a humbucker? Click. No, it is now, so I only had to press it once that time. So you've got to press that button on each pickup at least, at minimum twice, maximum 4 times every time you pick the guitar up, because you can't see whether it's in humbucker. Yeah. So that would be my gripe, but it's obviously dead easy to replace it with a modern. It's just a push-pull pot. So if anyone wants to buy an original Ibanez push-pull pot, they'll be worth money. Because it'll be the same push-pull pots that are in the most expensive Ibanez. That's a mere RG140, but I mean, the RG1500 will have the same pots in it. Someone's got an RG1500, the one Gary Moore had, worth a few grand. So they're spending 50 quid on a pot. I sell that pot or sell 2 of those pots. I've paid for the guitar. Ha! Rock on. Love you all. Catch you later.